Someone sent me a link, and I'll post it below. But the link is to a video, and it looks like it's a nicely produced video of what it means to be a Democrat. And I watched the video, and I have a couple of concerns about that. Why are black people Democrats? Well, for one, the fact that their political parties exist in itself is a problem. It takes no effort whatsoever to go voting, because if you are a Democrat, you're going to vote pretty much down the party line. If you're a Republican, you're going to do the same. Now, the reason why I say it's a problem having political parties is because political parties usually do everything possible to strengthen their party. And 9 times out of 10, that strengthening of that party is usually at the expense of someone else, and usually that someone else is the American people. Now, without political parties, if there was no such thing as a political party, you would be compelled to find out what a person's platform is. You would actually have to do your homework and find out more about the candidates who are running. And then you can probably make a more informed decision as to who you want to vote for. Political parties makes it far too easy to just show up, vote down political party lines, and go home. Now, the Democratic Party, and again, I have no affiliation to either party. I don't like either party. I have issues with both parties. Now, the Democratic Party is the party who made it possible for a black woman, minority woman, to raise her family without the help of the father. And in most cases, they encourage the father not to be there, because if the father's not there, then she would get even more assistance. These were policies that started in the 60s. When you look at the numbers of single black women or children being raised in single homes by single mothers skyrocketed after the 60s. What happened there? Prior to the policies of the 60s, which was the policies of the Great Society of LBJ, prior to that, there was a respect for the man in the house. He was the man of the house. And the black woman and the black man had to work together for the better of their children. In comes the policies of the Great Society. And in these policies, they're telling the woman, forget about him. We can be your daddy. We can provide everything for you that he either can't or won't, or if he's not capable of it, we'll take care of it. So what ends up happening? The black woman ends up falling for the bait, having the children. In many cases, the father has to hide out and make it seem like he doesn't live there, just so she would get extra assistance for the children. It emboldened the women to disrespect that black man. Because why do I have to respect you when you can't even raise your kids, but this Uncle Sam is taking care of your kids? In comes the dissension between the black man and the black woman. And that was done by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party was the party of the Ku Klux Klan. And if you ask any black people this, they're like, "Oh, I thought it was Republicans that started that." No, it was the Democrats. The Democrats were the ones who were behind Jim Crow laws of the early and mid 50s. That was the Democratic Party as well. So when you look at these brainwashed black people, especially now, since you have a black man in office, and I say black man, I use the term loosely. I believe he's just black on the outside. He's got nothing about him as black. Democratic Party is in a lot of trouble because this disaster called Obamacare is starting to show the signs of rot, and it's falling apart under its own weight. Now they got to do a full court press to get the Negroes back down there to vote Democrat again. Okay? Oh, get back down there. Just vote. Once you get it down here, we hold the House. We don't lose the House. We don't lose the Senate. Midterms elections, very important. You got to get down there and vote Democrat. We can finish what we started. Now, the real issue with that is that when many of these black people vote, that's all you're good for. Vote us in and then get the hell out of here and go back home. How many times has Obama already pretty much disrespected the black community in so many different ways since he's been president? Many people forget when he attended the Black Caucus some years back. He told the Black Caucus and all his audience to stop complaining, stop whining, stop complaining. Put on your marching shoes. Stop grumbling. That's a backhand. That's a slap in the face to black America. The people who were voting for him 90% or more, I believe it might have even been more, in higher percentage rate voting for him. How do you disrespect your constituency in such a way that you can say that to them? It's because you take them for granted, which gets back to my point of political parties. If you voted on the platform of what the person brings to offer, you would find out that you would probably end up voting Republican in some cases, independent in some cases, Democrat in other cases, and completely unaffiliated, maybe Green Party. There's a bunch of different parties with different platforms. And at that point, that's when you start shaking things up. Right now, since you just vote Democrat or Republican, you have two entrenched powers in government that are anchored in the system. By your lack of understanding what it is that motivates these parties to exist in the first place, what you're doing is basically just feeding the beast. That's all you're doing, just feeding the beast. Many people say, hey, you know what? Don't even vote. Don't vote. To hell with all of them. That's not going to get you anywhere. When you start voting for independence and different parties, third parties, fourth parties, fifth parties, many people don't even know that all these other parties exist, because when they go to the poll, all they see is red and blue. There's several other parties, libertarian parties, there's a Green Party, there's a bunch of different parties. But no, they'll never win. So I either got to go with the red or the blue. And then you get upset with the results that you get. When Obama gives you that slap in your face and that proverbial kick in your black ass, your dumb ass goes back down there and says, okay, well, you know what? let me vote for him again because, hey, I mean, who else am I going to vote for? You're trapped. You're trapped in not knowing what you can actually do with that fundamental right that people were fighting and dying for back in the 60s. They had to fight to vote in the 60s, and here you are giving it away. Wow, how little we learn and how soon we forget.